Hello, welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry, and here at Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are overwhelmed by the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. And today, the title of the podcast is a little quote, and I'm going to dive deeper into it, but it's, if I try to get organized, that's one more way I'm failing. And if you are feeling that, or you have felt that, or you have friends who feel that, or you think, oh, in the future I might feel that way, then I hope today can bring you a lot of peace and excitement. Before I jump into the details of this podcast, I want to share a beautiful note that we received from Joanne, because the story she shares, I think, actually paints the picture of what we want to help you create. So she says, "Hello, Team Learn to Become. I wanted to take a minute to share with you. I'm over halfway through the Step Mastery program. That's our Steps to Everyday Productivity program, where we teach you how to build this system called the Step Command Central." So she's halfway through. She said, "I'm so inspired by what I've learned and implemented. I just wanted to write and thank you." So first she tells us a little about her. She's married, they're empty nesters. She has 6 grandchildren. She's just talking about her life and living next door to her parents, and she's taking care of them while they're older. And she said, "That makes me tired just typing it, but I know I'm not alone in my plight, especially after finding your program. My responsibilities make it so that so much is coming at me all the time that I feel like I'm one of those plate-spinning people running around trying not to let anyone fall. And what was worse is most everything was in my head or on scrap paper or piles here and there." Enter Learn, Do, Become. I have set up my Command Central and have been working through the modules. I'm at the point of collecting all my level 1 and level 2 items, and it has caused me to slow down a bit, but the change in me has been phenomenal. I find my mind already lighter because I no longer feel like I wonder what detail I'm going to miss. I've employed Asana for daily routines and set up my list of projects, weekly routines, and finally am able to think further than just outside this week. I'm even able to let myself think about self-care, so important, but easy to let slide. Additionally, with this new lighter Joanne, I feel inspired to reorganize different things that I see that need tweaking in my home. I've reorganized my kitchen drawers and cabinets to work more efficiently, donated to Goodwill, and I'm cleaning out my parents' office as well. I know this sounds like a lot, but the crazy thing is that I do not feel overwhelmed in the least. I haven't felt this relaxed in years. My home is by no means clean yet, but it's getting there, and I'm so excited. Thank you very much, Joanne. I just get choked up reading that, and I sent that along to our whole team. I'm like, look, guys, look what's happening. I mean, it's amazing. So I just want to send a huge hug, because your life might look just like Joanne's, or it might be totally different. But that feeling where she said she feels like one of those plate spinning people running around trying not to let anything fall with a lot of stuff in her head, I know that is incredibly common. And when she said that she's finally to the point that she feels relaxed, oh my goodness, that's just what I love, because it doesn't mean she's lazy. It doesn't mean she's going to stop doing good things for people. It means now she can do it without feeling that sense of overwhelm that just persists in most people's lives. So thank you, Joanne. I just send my love, and I'm so happy. So I hope that inspired you as well. So let's dive in now, and let's talk about that feeling that might prevent you from going in and doing what Joanne's doing. And some of you may want to go through our full step program. Some of you might want to use all the free resources we have here at Learn, Do, Become. Totally fine, whichever way you want to go. I am going to be linking our new welcome kit we put together to help people kind of get started and know, how do you jump into Learn, Do, Become without getting overwhelmed, because we have a lot of stuff for you. So we have a very simple welcome kit. It's at LearnDoBecome.com/welcome. Anyway, we'll link it on the show notes page, and I'll talk about it more in a minute. But sometimes as people are wanting this and they're, craving that feeling of peace, they think, well, but if I try and get organized, it's just one more way I'm failing. I'm already failing at everything else in my life. I don't need another reason to feel discouraged when I wake up. So let's dive in and see if we can help change this in your head, okay? So the reason I'm even talking about this is because I recently had plans to help a friend of mine to get organized with our system here at Learn, Do, Become, Steps to Everyday Productivity. But for one reason or another, our appointment just kept getting pushed back. And finally, we got to the bottom of why. And it was essentially this: if I try to get organized, that's one more way I'm failing. And it turns out that there was a lot of stress going on with a variety of projects, and then trying to tackle the disorganization became one more thing. So I want to share with you what I shared with my friend. I have 3 points that I put together, and my hope is that you will give yourself a lot of grace and begin taking the steps that are right for you at this point in your organization journey. So the first thing is that any feelings we have of discouragement, anxiety, hopelessness, guilt, sadness, anger, etc., represent what is amazing about us. And I know that sounds kind of strange. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know I keep repeating myself as I champion the work of Dr. David Burns. He's author of the book Feeling Good and Now Feeling Great. And anyway, he's an amazing psychiatrist and has done great work. But this one thing is key: recognizing that all of these negative emotions actually represent the things that are so good inside of us and our values. So I want to just give a couple of examples. Let's say you work really hard on a new project or a new business, a volunteer effort, or some issue that feels very important and exciting to you. But then that work just seems to fall flat. You may feel sad, angry, inferior, discouraged, etc. But those feelings represent how much you care about that effort. They represent your high standards, your understanding that one person can make a difference, and the fact that you care about something or someone outside yourself. Another example is, let's say you have children or family members who are struggling, and you feel angry about their situations. Maybe you feel anxious about the future, and perhaps even guilty for not knowing in advance how to protect those people. So your feelings represent your compassion, your selflessness, and your willingness to put your own needs aside for someone else. And I could go on all day giving examples, but the point is that we want to be in good mental states when we sit down to organize our lives. But often these kinds of feelings get in the way. I'm not going to solve this whole challenge on this podcast, but I do recommend all of Dr. Burns' books, and he has a new app called the Feeling Great app. I personally use this probably like once a month, twice a month maybe. And it's anytime I start noticing that my emotions are moving in a downward spiral, because I need to just jump in and do a little tune-up, and it's so easy. It's so quick. Anyway, I love it. I'm not being paid to say this. I honestly think it's awesome. But I want to just take you through the process of what's going to happen in the app, or if you meet with one of Dr. Burns' team CBT therapists, they're awesome as well. And I'll link to like their website and everything so you can find that. But basically inside the app, it takes you through a process that identifies your feelings and the thoughts causing you to feel that way. And then you do this positive reframe. Because the point is that we don't want to let go of any of our negative feelings, because then we feel like we're letting go of all the positive things those feelings represent. So instead, we need to learn how to dial down the negatives so we keep enough of them, like enough anxiety to honor the situation, but not so much to disturb our progress and cause us to feel so overwhelmed. So I just want you to know that if you're not feeling great about things right now, there's nothing wrong with you, but there are ways to move forward. And I just feel so passionately about this because as I've been learning I've probably been following David Burns for almost a decade. And it's just every time I'm able to figure out how to take the negative stuff I'm going through and how to do the positive reframe and then change my thoughts. So I'm in a position where I feel stronger, mentally healthy, and able to move forward. And this has been really a journey for me, and this has been a lifesaver for me. So I just want to start with that, because if you're dealing with stuff and you're like, I can't take one more thing. Yeah, I get it, but you probably are always going to be dealing with stuff unless you learn how to use your mind to take the feelings and thoughts and process it in a way that's healthy. So, okay, that's number one. number 2, let's jump more into the organization side. The way that we define getting organized here at LearnDoBecome is probably different than what you're imagining. What you're probably imagining is a perfect house, perfect planning tools, alphabetized and color coordinated everything, etc. But this is what we want. For you to have clarity about the humanly possible list of things that needs to be on your plate, and clarity about what can wait. We also want you to know how to move forward simply with what is on your plate without procrastination or overwhelm. Now, clarity takes some effort, but the process isn't overwhelming. And when we take people through our steps to everyday productivity process and the system, we have to tell them at the beginning, we're not redecorating your office. We're not going out and buying a bunch of new stuff. We're not painting walls and, recarpeting and organizing the whole house all at once. We're not doing any of that. We're helping you take what's in your mind and figure out where does each item need to go? Is it now or is it next in line? Is it someday? And we're helping you to figure out how to actually focus on an amount of work that a human can do. Because what most people are doing is they're trying to work on hundreds of projects all at the same time while working a full-time job, while doing tons of routines to take care of children or parents or pets or spouses or all these things. And they're trying to be accessible to everyone who needs them and every interruption, and jumping on social media to stay up to date on everything in people's lives, and then reading the news and running in circles. And then we wonder why we all feel like we have focus issues. And is it any wonder if you're trying to do all of that? It's not humanly possible. But if you don't have a way to actually filter things systematically, you're just going to end up feeling like that all the time. So that's what we want. Clarity about the humanly possible list of things that needs to be on your plate right now. Can you imagine how that would feel if all the other stuff could just be off your plate and safe? That's what we want. All right, then number 3, your outcome vision might be super simple right now, and that is totally okay. I was going to sit down with a friend one time to go through plans for an organization she's running. She's been incredibly successful. She's doing great work, and there are tons of expansion opportunities. And that's what often happens is when someone is really good at something or hits on a good idea, it starts to grow, and then it starts to balloon, and people are all jumping on, and all these opportunities are coming, and everything's coming fast. And you love the idea of being successful, so you're like, oh, let's move. But often it starts to feel really overwhelming to expand, especially if you play a support role as a spouse or a parent or a child, sibling, good neighbor. I mean, any of that, it's really hard to balance huge growth with support roles. So what was happening is all of those expansion opportunities that needed to be organized were causing a lot of stress. So I said, hey, let me come in and help you kind of get organized. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to help you pare it down so you know what to focus on and everything else is safe. But in her mind, she's like, oh, shoot, April's going to come over and we're going to have to just now take all of this on, and I'm not going to be able to do it. So subconsciously, she didn't even want to optimize and organize because that would mean a lot more work and a lot more responsibility that didn't feel great to her. And I want you just to pause, because if right now you're like on the verge of wanting to get organized and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that is it. I am so worried that if I commit to a program or commit to working with a coach or doing something like that, now I'm going to have to deal with these millions of things, and they're going to overwhelm my brain. And you're playing the movie in your head of what's going to happen. But likely, I think you're playing the wrong movie. You haven't experienced mental clarity before, and you just don't know it's possible. So I just want to be clear about that. So instead, we talked about how her outcome for this specific friend might simply be to calm her mind and pare things down to the bare essentials for a while so she could grow slowly instead of just going big or going home. And growing slowly is a perfectly valid goal. I want to share a little bit more on this because the more experienced I get and the more people I speak with and the more I watch what happens to a lot of my friends who are burnt out, the more I realize that going slowly is a beautiful way to grow. So I personally had to do that back in 2020. LearnDoBecome basically doubled during COVID because everybody was home all of a sudden, and then they couldn't escape their messes. And they're thinking, I got to get organized, which was exciting to have so many people coming into our community. But it came at a time where it was really hard for me because we had 3 children who were now all home from school all day, homeschooling. So our whole family's in the house all day. And our daughter was serving a mission for our church in Ukraine at the time. And so we were messaging back and forth with her multiple times each week. We're trying to, be a support to her with the work she's doing, and she's quarantined as well. I mean, that was a big deal. And there was so much happening. So I was feeling so much desire to support my family, but then also here LearnDoBecome is just exploding. And so I was trying to pursue all the opportunities I could, but that meant we were doing a lot more hiring, and we were doing a bunch of different events, and then we were like hiring different coaches, and we were doing all these things to grow. And that was when I started getting sick. So it was the end of 2020 where it was like my body was just starting to shut down because I couldn't do it. So what I did eventually, because I didn't really know, didn't connect the stress with my sickness for a long time. But then I realized, okay, I actually don't want to run a huge organization. I want to be creative. I like writing and podcasting and helping people and celebrating our community and being your cheerleader. But I don't want to go to a bunch of meetings and have a bunch of stuff. And that's absolutely not what I want for my life. And that's okay. There's a book called Beyond Entrepreneurship by Jim Collins and Bill Lazare. And it has an excellent section kind of near the beginning about how some entrepreneurs really don't want a huge business. Because yes, they can teach you how you're going to scale and systematize and do all these things so that your business can grow and you can leave a legacy and you can have this huge organization. But there isn't a wrong business size as long as it's meeting the goals of sustaining your family and providing value to others. And that was something where I felt a little bit like this personally behind the scenes. I felt like I was letting people down, and I was not compassionate if I didn't want to grow our business. And you can probably understand why. I bet you've had similar feelings, because I'm like, well, if I know that this Command Central is going to help everybody get out of overwhelm and help them get organized, why wouldn't I want to have all my Command Central resources in Target and Walmart? And I still kind of have a dream about that, but I'm putting that on hold right now. Or why wouldn't I want a Netflix special? Or why wouldn't I want to have, coaches all over the world and do certification programs and do all this stuff? Like I felt like if I care about the world and if I care about people, then why wouldn't I want to grow this thing to be enormous, right? And I still feel so passionate about what I'm doing and about the work we're creating. But I'm also looking at seasons and times of life and trusting that God will help me to know how to do it. But for my own health and my own ability to keep going with my values, I've just had to slow things down. And slowing down still is a lot. Like if you see all the fun stuff we're doing here at LearnDoBecome, it's still a lot. It's just manageable for me, given my life and my goals. And the podcast I recorded recently about values-centered productivity tackles the same subject. The reason why we want you to organize your day is so that you can be flexible with your self-care and the needs of your family and with what you want to do as your personal ministry. I'll just give a brief example from yesterday. So our family was out most of the day yesterday. It was a beautiful day. So we were outside and we were doing some awesome activities together. And I planned to do my work at night. But then we have one son left home, Spencer. He's 17. And he was navigating a few things and he wanted to talk last night. So I sat with him for about a half hour. We talked through some things. Then I sat and did a little bit of work. And then a friend of his came over. And they got in dinner and they were sitting in the kitchen. And I went over and was chatting with them in the kitchen. And then Eric came in and he was chatting. And the four of us were just hanging out in the kitchen, having so much fun, like telling stories, learning more about our son's friend. It was so great. And it was one of those experiences where I'm thinking, how often do I get to just sit at the kitchen counter with my teenage son and his friend? This isn't like every day we're doing this. And I didn't want to just go work on my computer and miss that. So I didn't do all my computer work last night. But the reason I could relax and enjoy being with Eric and Spencer and his friend was because my lists were organized and I knew what I wasn't doing. My mind was calm. I'm thinking, okay, I can outline the podcast tomorrow. So this podcast I'm recording right now, it's coming out late this week. But you know what? That's okay. And the reason it's late is because I was spending time with my family doing the things that mattered most to me at that time. And right now I'm home alone and this is a great time for me to record a podcast. So I just want you to be able to set things up in your life where you have options and you have the ability to really discern what's most important right now and what can wait. So just in closing, if getting organized feels like one more way you'll fail, I really think it's time to get to the bottom of what the real issue is. Are you expecting too much of yourself right now? Are there some distortions in your thinking? Are you trying to do 1,000 things at the same time and then wondering why nothing is coming together? Or perhaps, do you need clarity on what exactly deserves your focus during this season of life? We do have our LearnDoBecome welcome kit. So it's at LearnDoBecome.com/welcome. And we'll give you, it's so fun. We give you a little map of LearnDoBecome so you can see what we do here. And then we have 4 resources that you can access and implement right away. And they're organized by how long they take. So how much time you have. We have like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30, and 60. So you have these little options to get started. And then we'll keep you up to date each week with new podcasts, new resources, fun stories from our community members, celebrations, events, let you know about what's going on either in our Steps to Everyday Productivity program or our Arise membership, which is so fun, where you get to gather live with me and Eric and Team LearnDoBecome and the Arisers. And we have a monthly focus that will just help you to be able to wake up excited and go to bed content. So I hope that that feels fun for you. I'm going to share just a couple more testimonials. I think I have 3 more before I close up, just because they're so fun. I love sharing them on the podcast. So the first 2 are about finding money. And I love this because we tell people, if you want to get organized and you decide buying our Steps to Everyday Productivity program is the best path, it's going to pay for itself. You're going to find money in your piles. And people always say, oh no, I have no money hidden. And then we get these messages all the time. So this one says, I was sure there wouldn't be any money found in my piles because I found it all the last time I went through the program. But if finally processing things that gets you money back counts, I'm up to $75. I had a bank statement buried from an old savings account that I thought was closed 10 years ago. Closing it over the phone took less than 5 minutes. And an offer for a $20 Amazon gift card for leaving a review on a purchase. You really never know what's in those piles. So I thought that was awesome. And then this next one says, as I tackle my inbox, I found $75 in unused e-gift cards and was also able to contest a return to Amazon that they say they didn't receive so that I could get an $80 plus return credit. The program is paying for itself. Thank you. Onward and upward. So that was so cute. And then just this last one that, just made my heart feel so good. She says, I was telling my accountability partner tonight, my sleep cycles are the best they've been in my entire life. I often awake several times nightly. My mind is so much calmer that I actually fall back to sleep very quickly. It's truly blowing my mind. This has never happened before. I'm trying to get to content and excited, closer than I ever thought I'd be 4 months ago. So I just want to send a huge hug and lots of love. I've been reading through my mom's journals lately. So my mom passed away in 2017 from Alzheimer's, and I have 2 big bins of her journals. Most of it's in shorthand, so I can't read it. And a lot of it's just, little scribbles here and there, but there are some gems. And so sometimes if I'm ever home alone, maybe for an evening or something, I just say, I want to go spend time with mom. And so I go into her journals and I'll get 1 or 2 out and just start reading through it. And the other day as I was reading through her journal, I'm just watching. It was at like the height of, all the kids in the home and all the stuff going on. And she didn't have a planner. She didn't have our step system. And we just had piles like everywhere. And I was reading what she was writing about her day. And she was taking my uncle to get a surgery and then picking up his prescription. And then she was making eggs for my brother like 11:30 at night. And then she was dropping by to visit different people and have phone calls. And as she's writing through her journal, I was taking little photos of little parts where she'd say things like, I really need to get a handle on all of this clutter. Or I wanted to clean my bedroom, but I just didn't have the drive. Or there was one part where she was talking about how she wanted to spend more time with like me and my sister playing the piano and helping us with our piano lessons. I mean, she's writing all these things, good intentions, things she wanted to be helpful on, and she's keeping a record of what she's doing. So basically, she's taking care of all these people. She's listening. She's studying and drawing closer to God. She's just amazing. She's this amazing mother who was always just there for us. But then behind the scenes, I'm watching as she's just trying to identify goals and this desire to be organized and have things kind of put together, but she didn't know how to get out of the overwhelm. And just reading through her journals, I was just thinking, oh my goodness, no wonder she's in overwhelm. There was no system. It was just stream of consciousness, just writing everything down and trying to remember, and then feeling bad that she didn't have it all put together. And I just felt so much love for my mom as I was reading through her journals, because she was literally there for all of us and made such a difference. But I don't think that she was really able to value it and see how amazing she was, because she felt so overwhelmed by all the stuff. And so a big part of my mission and what I consider to be my ministry is helping you to be able to have that peace of mind. So when I get messages like this, people saying, oh my goodness, I'm sleeping better. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm taking care of myself. My house is getting clean. I feel so good. I'm finding money. I mean, we've received so many beautiful messages, and they come in every day. That's why I feel so excited about my work. And yes, I am taking it at a good pace right now because I love my husband and my children, and I want my body to be healthy. And I don't want to push myself to do something crazy, but I know that this works. So I just want you to know I'm here to support you. Our team is here to support you. We have as many free resources as we can create. We keep creating them because we want to help the world. So if you come to the welcome kit, LearnDoBecome.com/welcome, then you can just get started with free stuff. If you are in our STEP program or RISE membership, that's so fun because then we get to help you with the best engagement and coaching and support and all of that, which is available. So, okay, I'm going to close now. Just sending a huge hug and lots of love. And I want you to just thrive. And so I hope that you'll be able to not only look at your life and say, yes, I can get organized, but I want you to say, by trying to get organized, I am showing that I matter and the things that I care about matter. And I'm going to create a life where I wake up excited and I go to bed content. Okay, we'll see you soon at LearnDoBecome.com.